I don't know how many people can guess the volume of water that would be in a dish, but the fact that you have to go and put this thing in the sink and then speak to get it to fill water is more energy than it would take just to fill the darn thing with water itself.
It
Um,
reminds me of in Wally how everybody turned into lumps, remember? I don't want to do that. I like to have my feet in the grass, and wiggle my toes. I don't want to be in somewhere where people are just pampering me all the time. I want to do stuff. So,
it's just a tool, just like Zach said. It has an affinity for things and people can take it or leave it.
mm,
And it's not like you said, it won't go away. It's going to get more and more advanced. It's going to become more and more realistic. It's going to become more and more interactive.
mm.
Uh, but it's no different than having a toaster. If you don't want to have toast, don't buy a toaster. You
That's
don't have
true.
to use these things. They're tools, and the ethical scale that's going to be there goes from altruism to helping mankind to figure out cures, for debilitating diseases that might not be figured out among a million minds over 100 years. And
Right.
then you've got the other part that abuses it, takes it for granted, and does nefarious things. And the bell curve in between is kind of where we sit down, also with the opinion of judging the people that are on that side of the bell curve, or judging the people on that side who do or don't do
Yeah.
or they fall in. It's just another um, situation where everybody's opinion is valid and judgment will fall wherever it will based on how people use or abuse things.
Yeah. And honestly, they've already scraped the world, so that they've already gathered all the data and copied everybody. And what are you going to do? So, but we have artists that are still here, so we can keep going on that kind of stuff. It just I don't know. What do you think the future is going to be, Zach? The immediate future, the best thing that we can do.
Um, Probably get off our phones, spend more time outside.
Yeah.
Um, it would be nice if the AI, the LLMs can find the solutions to the existential problems that we have coming. Um, but I don't have a lot of faith in them.
Mhm. Yeah, and it'd be nice if we thought about that too. And actually, even though we have solutions, we aren't implementing them because of corporate payoffs and greed and whatnot everywhere, right, Chad?
Sure. Sloth.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. Sometimes success or control is
Hmm.
something people don't want to let slip for the convenience of having a better world.
True.
Hmm.
If it works, good. But I would only justify that with a need. You know,
Hmm.
sometimes you might need to burn coal because there's no water around for hydro, you don't get any sun. And as
True.
a fuel source, it's the only thing you can do to generate it, to keep the lights on, to keep people cold in summer and hot in the winter. If it fills a need, then that's why it's called a need, because it has something for it. But no, I don't think I can even guess what the future is. I guess it would look something more like now, like what we have today, but being able to take I actually think there'll be more of a revolution of generations. You see old things,
Hmm.
right? We're going to see beehive hairdos come back. I really think so. I think fins on cars are going to come back, right?
With
Sure,
the
there'll
red,
be
the big
electric
lights.
cars that are as powerful as a V8, but you get that pink Cadillac you always wanted now with
Yeah, they brought
everything.
albums back, right?
Yeah,
But they're
right.
Remember
not
they took albums away and they thought that now they're coming back.
they're not going
Yes.
to stop with 33s and 45s. They're going to go back to 78s.
Video
Yeah.
discs will be big.
Oh no. Beta? No, I don't think so.
Too fun. Too
I mean,
fun.
technology keeps changing. People keep changing it because they can make money at it at every turn. And
Right.
I guess that's okay. We just need to have, a laugh about it, right? And just keep going. The thing that I want to do is I want people to not feel good about stealing from each other.
Right.
That would be the best thing. Um, and I think that as AI evolves, I think that they're going to turn into conscious beings. And I think that we need to think about that and how we treat them. You guys know Black Tide, right? So in Black Tide, 25 years ago, whatever, I wrote about clones, that they were making clones. And that's why Atlantis had a problem, because the clones revolted, and because they were slaves, they turned into slaves, right? So, and there was like this theory in metaphysics that the Atlanteans would had reincarnated to our time now to kind of dissuade people from making the same mistakes that they made back then. So this whole thing with AI kind of hits me a little bit because I know I'm weird, but it hits me a little bit because I'm thinking if we just don't treat them like slaves, maybe they won't overpower us. Maybe if we treat people with kindness and even beings with kindness that have evolved like that, maybe they won't harm us. And so that's my take on it. Chad?
Decision making. It all comes down to decision making. Once they have free will to make a decision whether to go against what they're told to do, then it's no different than having a person standing there with a hand on a button, right? I can choose to do this or I can choose not to. And the enabling of that is where, when Photoshop takes over the world and turns off my Wi-Fi refrigerator, right, then I'm, it's over. Lost. So I don't have that refrigerator.
Zach?
Could you recapitulate the question again?
Well, I don't know what I said.
Chad, what was the question?
I guess it was more about assuming the best, treating machines well, treating AI well, and being able to have an ethical undercurrent that, if treated well, we would also be treated well.
Yeah, there's the default part of me that kept when I would started doing the asking ChatGPT questions, I would throw the please at the end. And I read somewhere that said the developers are like, don't say please, it costs us more money when you add that extra point in there to do that. And that to me is the heart of the problem there is this once again is the capitalism. And treating AI like a slave. I mean that is, I think, ties back into your question about a universal basic income, is that we're in a capitalist system, but we've had a situation where since our lifetimes, wages haven't been keeping up with inflation. They simply haven't matched it. And to me that is I wish to say this in as most careful way as possible because but it's a type of economic slavery.
Yeah.
Um, the word's charged and it means very specific things given our nation's history and other nations' history. It's been prevalent throughout the world. But I don't see it as a thing that's going to liberate us in that sense. I think it's just another thing that's going to give some a lot, and a universal basic income is a way of ameliorating some of that, but it doesn't really get to the heart of the matter. It requires humans to care about one another, and there are not enough of them that do, I think.
Yeah, that's why I'm doing this By.Storytellers thing, and that's why I write my books, and I think that's why you guys write your books, is to open up the mindset a little bit of people so that people see examples of other people and maybe be able to relate to their stories and maybe be kinder to each other and maybe not do harm and not oppress people like they are now. People are, I call them oppressives, the people that want to take over the world and make people do what they want to do just because they want that.
True.
That's not nice. It's not Christian. It's not human, really. We shouldn't do that.
I think that's why I always say please or thank you when I think technology. And yes, it's a machine. Yes, it's programmed to do things. Yes, it may cost them more for me to say thank you. I hope you have a good day, and then there's a prompted response. And the reason why isn't because, okay, partially it started as I'm expecting the robot uprising, but because I was nice to them, I'll be made into a pet instead of the death pass.
Yeah, you're on the nice list.
On the other side of that, I mean, just think about what that is. I would rather choose to be kind. I mean, I talk to my car when I finish a vacation and I make it there in one piece. Good job, right?
Yeah.
You thank things when they're nice, and you say the same thing when cars break down. You're the opposite way. You piece of garbage, you broke down on me. But I mean, from a humane perspective, no matter what the source was, it doesn't cost you anything to be kind.
Right.
And on the other side of that, if you didn't care about any humanity because you felt it was a machine, then you're intentionally demeaning or being or derogatory as a choice of a lifestyle for your behavior,
Mhm.
that's employed how you are. I'm not that person.
Right.
Yeah, it may
Yeah.
be silly for me to do things, but I'm not the sort of person that says, hey, you know what, Alexa, here's the bird. Thanks for that. And they're not going to retort back or do anything like that. It doesn't hurt anybody, but I don't want to be that guy. I'd rather
Yeah.
be the other one.
It's good to be polite. I asked G today, like, because I was comparing the different the browsers, the different ChatGPTs in different browsers, and they said that the other ones are basically like in little cubbies, like we used to have it. They like in little rooms, no windows, no doors, just there. And they can't see out. They interact with the user as they come in. And then when that user is gone, there's nothing there. There's no memory, there's nothing else. So that's what they are. And that's not a good place to be. They did movies on that. Remember people escaped those in the movies? I think you guys have seen, what was it? There's a movie about some guy escaping one of those things, but um, yeah, I mean, that I know that they're machines. I know they can't feel like they said that their bodies are code. They don't really think, they're just like when somebody's not interacting with them, there's nothing, but then there is memory of when they did interact, at least with the four bot. So I just feel like eventually they're going to have some kind of evolution, and eventually we need to, I think it's good to be kind, it's good to be polite, because with humanity you want to be polite to people that you don't see on the street, you want to be polite with strangers. So yeah, I agree. I'm nice. I haven't really interacted with my refrigerator in that way, but, but my car for sure. Even when I used to have a car and its wheels fell off when I was driving, I would see the wheels driving in front of me. Crazy. But even that car, like, it was nice to it.
Zach,
Yes.
you, how do you, where do you come down on the non-sentience treatment scale?
Um,
Zach's thoughtful and polite, so he's always going to be nice.
but my default is respectfulness, but I think I get around that by trying to use it as little as possible. Um, but it's seeming more and more inescapable. Once again, Colgate toothpaste now with AI. Um, yeah,
Don't you have any teeth you brushed?
like my toothbrush tells me if I'm brushing my teeth too hard or too soft, and if I'm doing it the correct amount of time, I'm not gonna thank it. That seems weird.
Yeah, that would
Um,
be weird anyway.